What's up, everyone? My name's Chris Marshall with my boy Frank G. We are the hosts of Build Your Empire podcast. Frank G, tell the people what we do.
What's going on, everybody? Chris and I, we discuss established empires while showcasing us building ours.
Frank G, you know what I love?
What's that?
I love having guests on the show, and we are blessed and honored to have Haneef come on the show. He is an author, created a book which you could go on Amazon Kindle right now. Get the book. It starts at home. We're going to discuss that along with his journey, his story. Haneef, welcome to the show, and thank you, my friend.
Man, thank you guys for having me, man.
Hey, we appreciate it. We definitely appreciate it. It's funny, people thank us, but at the same time, you're giving us your time. So Frank G pours out the Ciroc. We got to
Yes,
give him a
sir.
shout out for that. Shout out Ciroc. Haneef, before we get into everything or anything, why don't we start with an origin story of you, who you are, how you came to be, a little bit of your background.
Yeah, man. I got a cool background, man. A quick story, so, I grew up in Newark, New Jersey. I was born and raised there about the first 16 years of my life,
Which was the plot of your book.
which is the plot of my book, of course. And I really wanted to pay homage to the city that I grew up in. I look around, I saw like a lot of places like, The Wire. They have their own story in Baltimore. And then you got Boys in the Hood. They got South Central. And I'm like, man, and I was part of we can have our own story. But, like I said, I'm born and raised in Newark, New Jersey. I moved a lot, man. I probably moved around 10 different times, and when in the house I was born in.
All within the tri-state, all within Newark.
Yeah. Newark, Irvington, Rawway.
So a Jersey boy.
Jersey boy, man. I even lived in Philly for like a couple of days, bro. So I moved a lot, man. And my first house, I actually lived with 23 people, man. I used to count
Wow.
it. I lived in
Okay.
a house with 23
I mean,
people.
and again, that's the premise of Rolling over there, right?
Absolutely, man.
So
Absolutely,
the main
bro.
character.
And Hanif, let's give some context real quick, right? I mean, our listeners know Frank and I. Let's be real. We're just, we grew up middle class, white Caucasian men. You're on the show. Your book, it goes into street life, and I guess really, it just gets into Newark, right? So why don't you just kind of elaborate on how you grew up and how you got to the book, and I guess any struggles, your stories, success.
Yeah, man. It's funny. I always, when I think about my life, I think about a Tupac quote where he said,
Love Tupac.
we thought we had it rough, but we always had enough." And that's
Ooh.
how I look at it. I mean, I didn't grow up
Black
poor.
of the berry is sweet of the juice. They say the
We
black.
the
They say, I got you, man.
roots. So they, you know what I mean? So it's like one of those things. Like I didn't grow up poor. We always had enough. But at the same time, man, certain things, we didn't have. I didn't have a bunch of Jordans and stuff like that. I grew up like, what I mean? It was sometimes that was rough, But I feel like the city, it's good, bad, and ugly in North. It's some good. You got working people, and I try to touch on that with my book. You got the bad. You got people who out, hustling, selling drugs, and I've seen a lot of that growing up. And then you got the downright ugly,
Well,
where you get some tough stuff,
you
man.
know what's crazy is, and I think Frank could relate. We grew up, middle class Caucasian. I mean, my father paid for my college, right? I mean, we had that benefit, but at the same time, I sold weed for 10 years, hustling a pound a week. I didn't have to, but like my parents didn't give me $100 to go buy J's, right? I had to go hustle it up. And then at the same time, I'm not saying, I'm street to the aspect of the hood, right? But like you learn that street smart, and that with education, it's a
Mhm.
deadly combination, man.
Absolutely, bro. And like I went to public school, kindergarten, 8th grade, right? In Newark. And I didn't have a class with one white person. The only white people we saw in my city was the teachers and the police. So you got to think about the mindset. That's authority. So that's
It
what you get what I'm
it's
saying?
it already conditions you to a different type of mindset.
Right. So the white people I came across were people telling us what to do.
Man,
You
fuck that.
know? Yeah, right.
I hear you.
So and then when I moved around, moved to Rawway. That's when that was the first time I remember getting a tour in the class. First time I ever saw a white person in the school. And I remember the day I said, "Oh shit, I got white people in this school." You
That
know,
stuck out to you.
Mm.
it stuck out to me, bro. And I seen
Yeah.
First time I seen Filipino women, I'm like, "Oh shit, like this is crazy." And then I went to Fairleigh Dickinson. That's where I graduated from FDU.
I could tell you right now, I love all kinds of women, black,
I
white,
was just gonna
Filipino.
say.
It don't matter. I mean,
Absolutely.
there's not.
You think I said that by mistake? Come on, dog. I knew.
Oh man.
So let me ask you, with this, the upbringing you had, was it easier, or did you get motivated to write this book because of this? Is it a lot of things in your life related to the book?
Yeah, it is a fictional story.
Yeah.
But there are certain stories that was like I said, I relate to, or stories I heard, or stories I know. My dad knows. My dad was really, he played a big part in the story as well. Some gems he gave me and stuff like that. So it was a lot of that. It was. But like I said, it is a fictional story, right?
I thought that, but I felt like you put your own, element to it.
I did.
Like there was a part of you. I mean, right off the jump, dude, the story was like, they're in the mall, like getting ready to rob a homie. It's like, damn, like, all right, this is what we're in for. All right, let's get to it. But let me ask you this, as an author, right? I wrote a little short story, Formulas of the Journey. It was like maybe 10 pages, and that was a pain in the ass. How did you write 200? Like, you wrote 250 pages. It takes 4 hours to read that. How long did it take you to write, to edit, to put in context, to proofread, to have other people proofread? What was the duration of the whole project?
So I'll be honest, I procrastinated a lot, right?
We all do.
With and I had some reasons. I got married, had the kid, all that stuff. You got work. I used to tell myself sometimes, like, dreams don't pay the bills. So I got caught up with that. But it was a 4-year span, right? But I'll be honest with you, now knowing what I know, it should probably take a year to do it. That was the hardest part, back and forth, writing, sending it to the editor sending it back, just back and forth for like a year, man.
2 episodes ago, we had a guest on. I said something very similar. That's all right, right? Like, you found your passion. You can express yourself through writing. But you have to find a job and make money to, fund your passion. And hopefully one day your passion becomes the moneymaker.
100%, bro.
So, and you mentioned procrastinating. You had a family. I seen, I just followed you on Instagram. I see you have a beautiful wife and
beautiful
kid.
family.
Now, did that?
If I told you, we would be jealous, man. I told you.
Yeah. So, having a family like that, did catering to their needs distract you or help you procrastinate, or did it motivate
before you answer, I think it motivated him. Yeah. Frank G, I'm telling you, no one can motivate a man like a woman. Haneef, go ahead. My bad.
100%, bro. I dedicated a book to my wife.
I saw that. It was beautiful, man.
Because she would push me and say stuff, like, yo, you need to finish this book, man. Oh, like, your daughter's gonna finish it. This is going like,
that one irks.
You feel me? Something like
that's tough love.
She chirping me, man. So I can't just take that. So, but that's what you need. We push each other. So just to tell you quick backstory, me and my wife, we started dating in college when we were. Just 3 days after I turned 20. So we were 19. Now we both 30 years old. So we push each other, man. And that's what you need. You got to have a team. You guys do that for each other, I'm sure.
Yeah, we're trying to find, the woman aspect of each other. But I hear you, man. I hear you. Right now, we're just taking flights and just doing our thing, which is great. But I've been saying this. We've been doing this show a year and a half. I don't know, something about a woman just it changes a man. But I would imagine she was a huge part of completing that book.
Yeah, 100%. And there's a character. So the character, her name is Angel. My wife inspired the character a lot.
Your angel,
right?
Guardian angel.
So I learned this in communications in college. That's what we call the signifier.
Yeah. I was a communication major,
minor. So where'd you go to school, Haneef?
FDU, Fairleigh Dickinson University.
Okay. Shout out FDU. Shout out your wife. Now, let me ask you, do you have any plans on a sequel or other books or, your writing journey? Where do you see this in, 6 months, 5 years, 10 years?
Yeah, so I get asked that a lot, man. And I'm sure, when you guys finish the book and stuff like that. But I'm thinking about the sequel, and I kept saying to myself, If people are knocking down my door for a sequel, I'll give it to them. I'm not gonna force it. I hate when people drag out part 2, part 3. You know, like we don't need 25 episodes of Fast and the Furious. I don't need a Bad Boys 27. So like, I don't want to force it. If you guys want that sequel, I already got a bunch of ideas written down. I'm ready for it. You know, so that's one thing for the sequel. As far as other projects, I hesitate to talk about the future because I'd be careful. I don't want to change. You know, if I told you guys something and I don't follow up with it.
I hear you. Maybe.
You know, but I'm thinking of. I thought about children's book, but I'm also thinking about more so a relationships book, right? Not as
a hitch.
Yeah. I'm not an expert.
We had a hitch on the show once. Heather Hopkins. We had a woman. She created her own dating app. I think she lives in LA. But I mean, hey man, good for you.
Super cute.
Super cute.
You got to be. You know, she's giving advice and stuff. I'm sure.
Yeah, she was an awesome guest. But I mean, how'd you get into writing? Because there's 3 ways to express yourself. You either have video, you have audio, and you have writing. Writing to me, and everybody knows, my biggest weakness is what, Frank?
Your grammar.
My grammar blows. It blows. But I'll tell you something, Haneef. I never not have a problem conveying what my message is.
Well, that's why you have an editor.
I understand. But either way, when I'm on Instagram and I write a caption, I mean, it blows. So how did you, I guess, get better at writing or learn, you know, the skills and improve? And I mean, is it all the editor? I would imagine no.
So I've always been in love with storytelling, right? And that's what you guys do as well. You're storytellers, you know.
Well, we're salesmen, so that's exactly what
and you salesmen, right? You know what I mean? You sales, service, you know, it's all that stuff, you know, storytelling. So I did a lot of writing in college. I did a lot of sports writing. You know, originally I used to write for the school newspaper. I did and then when I graduated, I did freelance writing.
Okay, so it's been a passion for a long time.
Yeah, for a while. I'll tell you what, you know, a quick story. When I was in college, towards the as far as one of the last communication classes that we took, we get a chance to do a freelance, you know, he showed us a movie. He said, hey, write whatever you want about the movie. And long story short, in the movie, the mainframe of the computer, it crashes and everything goes south. Okay. I wrote about how when my grandfather passed away, my great grandmother's husband, when he passed away, the house went south. Right. So a lot like the story. This is like the beginning of my story.
Well, that's what happened when Papa died.
That's what happened with Papa died. So I wrote that for this professor. Mind you, he's like a 60-year-old British guy. And I wrote it. I took a chance. I opened up. I talked about my story. He came back. He puts the paper down. I'm like, oh shit, here we go. I flip it over. It's an A. It's an A. I think it was an A-. It was an A. Ooh. He said, and at the top he puts, thank you for sharing your story.
That was inspiring.
Yeah, absolutely.
At that moment, I said, damn, if this guy likes that hood story or likes my story and he relates to it, I might have something. So it was always in the work to answer your question. I've always been writing, and the editor, she took me to another place, you know?
Okay.
And Frankie, I'll let you go real quick. I hope that passion, man, stays burning and it never flames out. I mean, that goes with this podcast. That goes with, you know, your future novels and books, and that goes for everything, man. To
absolutely.
Truly be obsessed with something is a whole nother stratosphere.
So when I was younger, this is like 5th grade, so we're going back. I took a journalism course, and I guess you were able to choose a major, quote unquote. And one of the ending of the year projects was to write your own book. So I wrote a fiction book about 2 like mobsters. One guy was Mario, the other guy was Luigi. And it was like there was a bunch of shotguns and like heads flying off. And
Haneef is like, yep, the Staten Island white kid. He was
the amount of red lines through my entire story. There was like 10 words left. It was like 10 words left. So whoever
that story sucked.
The people who won, that was too violent. The people who won this contest read their stories to like 3rd graders, 2nd graders. My story was like for like high school.
Yeah, it was Sopranos.
So I don't know. I guess not as good. I thought I could have been. Maybe I just stopped practicing.
But I mean, if the professor put an F on my paper, I might not be here, bro. I might
Yeah.
not.
Hey man,
Which is
that's a
interesting.
mentor.
Haneef, two questions for you. One, what is the biggest lesson that you learned,
Mm.
and by who? And then second, which I guess these two aren't connected. Second, I want to know what you do for your marketing. How'd you get your book out there?
Okay. So first question, as far as what did I learn in life or about the book process?
Life. I want to know
Mm.
what you learned in life that may or may not allude to the book writing process.
Okay. So I think honestly, my dad's been the biggest mentor for me, you know,
Shout out,
and
pops.
Yes, sir.
shout out to Pops. And I think that I'll be honest, I always say my dad saved my life, you know, because there was times where I would have went a different direction, but having him meant the world to me. I think the thing that he always hammered to me was education is the key,
Mm-hmm.
right? And education doesn't necessarily mean just college. That is like learning the art of learning, you know?
That's
So
what this
Everything,
show is.
everything in life. Yeah.
This
you feel
show
me?
is education. It's learning, people. It's learning each other. What can we learn from? It
Yeah.
don't matter if we have hats backwards and what color we are. No, all that shit's irrelevant. It's
And that's what he
Yeah.
taught me. And
At the
that's what
start of every process.
he can tell me stuff like, bro, I don't care who you date. I don't dad, he's like, Daddy don't care about green. I don't care what she looked like or whatever, man. As long as they treat you right, you treat them right, you know.
the only thing I care about is, are you happy?
Right.
People don't ask that. It's like they always ask, the bullshit. Yo,
How
what's
you
going on?
doing?
How you been? It's, are you happy?
Yeah.
Some
And
people
you'll know.
probably don't know how to answer that.
They don't. Well, I was just gonna say, you'll know from how they answer it.
Mhm.
They'll be taken back. Yeah, I'm happy. Nah, I don't know. But
And
Haneef, now going to your marketing, how'd you get the book out?
yeah, so of course I released my first book ever during COVID, during a pandemic. So it was like it was cool in the beginning. I'm like, damn, this kind of sucks, man. Like I wanted to go to Barnes and Nobles and have a book signing and all my friends
Mhm.
would come, but I couldn't do any of that stuff, right? And while I use social media, I'm also sometimes I'm like not in love with social media sometimes.
I'm the
I'm
same
like,
exact way. You see
man,
me.
I don't want to open up. So I'm like, nah, I'm not sharing this, and I don't feel like posting this. But I understand that in order to play the game, that's what the audience want. They live on social
100%.
media.
Yeah.
I gotta play the I gotta be on social media because that's where the audience lies, right? That's the game right now. Okay. So a lot of it was that, and then it was a lot of guerrilla marketing, I'm
Just
buying
out there.
we just handing out books. My dad giving books out to the masjid. I'm a Muslim, so that's why my last name, that's my name
Gotcha.
origins of my name.
Sure.
So I'm giving out books like that. I'm sending books to the prison. I had a relative who's incarcerated now, a young guy. So I sent him a book. He hit me back like, yo, this changed my life. Well, not changed my life, but he's like, yo, I could take a lot from
Inspired. He understood. Yeah.
I'm done with trying to live that type of lifestyle. So I said, cool. And I was like, damn, I'm gonna send you more. So I started sending him more books. So I sent him 10, 20 books. So bro, it was guerrilla marketing and then social media.
Yeah, I gotta quickly say I saw a clip of you speaking to someone about that story you just told. A family member in prison. You sent them a book, and it just made them feel like they were on the outside for a little bit. I mean, I just have to say that I was like really touched by that. I mean, because it's not only you're trying to get your book out there, but it's the message, it's the passion. There's way more to it. And to be honest, that is probably why this book will do well. And I will be transparent. I have not read it, but I will make time to, for
Yeah,
sure.
man. Thank
And
you. I appreciate it.
Haneef, it's fascinating, right? I always said, and again, me and Frank, we're not from the hood. We've never been from the hood. We don't know what the hood necessarily is like. But I think if one person made it out with
Mm.
a positive mental mindset, that indicates that it is totally possible for anybody to do so. It's just you ultimately get stuck in the game of whatever it is, not having parents or direction, or you just chase money and education. There's tons and tons of reasons we can get into, but
Mhm.
you're a prime example of a person who's educated, a person who's affluent, a person who has a beautiful family, who is actually passionate about something. So I think you should utilize what's in you to spread that message as broad as possible, because it is a beautiful message, my friend.
I appreciate it, bro. And again, like I said, sometimes I don't want to play the social media game, but I realize that I'm here. I'll be honest with you. The best thing I do is try to help people. That's what I'm here to do. You guys as well. Like, it sounds corny to be like, I'm just here to serve and help others, but that's what I do. That's the best thing I do.
When you mean that, it is not corny in the slightest, man.
No, and we always say, I mean, having that impact is way more than having money.
Right. And I got family and friends, you know, people I know that was looking up to, like, you know, probably the wrong influence, you know, hustlers and stuff like that. And I'm like, I'm being subtle and humble about it, but I'm like, dude, like, you know, I got a couple dollars as well. Like, I'm going to Miami. I'm doing things as well. You know what I mean? Like you guys.
We got a flight tomorrow, baby.
Right, flying out tomorrow. So, but I was so humble about it. I think that some of the younger generation, if you don't show it off, he don't got it. So now I got to play the game too, and you know, to try to like get these guys to look at and say, yo, you can go that route and still have things.
Well, it gets crazier than that, right? Because a lot of that has to do with the flashiness. Like I say this often. If I had 100K, you could put 80K in a car with some metal and 20K around your wrist in gold, and you would get nothing but more ass. Meanwhile, if you put that in a stock portfolio at a 10% compounding interest year over year, that is the education that's missing from, 90% of society. And if they had that education, that outlook, I mean, in 20 years, that 100K buys you a house, while your Rolex, I mean, that may appreciate.
And your car is depreciated.
Your car is done.
Yeah.
Right away, man.
Absolutely. It's a great analogy.
As soon as you leave the lot.
Yep.
100%. And Haneef, by the way, I always say, I think I am the most introverted extrovert on the planet. I don't like social media. I would rather just kick it, smoke weed with a girl and Frank G.
I hope I got my girl there.
Yeah.
I hope I got my girl too, man.
I didn't want to leave you out. Like, I felt bad.
Third wheel.
She has a friend.
We like friends.
Oh, man. I bet you do. But, like, I'd rather do that than, being plastered on social media and being out there. But at the end of the day, if you're trying to spread a message, that's the game.
You know it works. Yeah. So I wanted to ask you quick about the book, just because it starts at home, the title. And I know, you said you had a strong support system growing up. This is why you have the values you have and, the work ethic. What does that title mean? Is it exactly what it says? Like, it starts at home? Like,
yeah.
Tell me.
I'll be honest with you. I think that you could point to everyone, and a lot of the person they are today is as far as their upbringing, where they came from, at home. A lot of it, not all of it.
Yeah.
There's some people who, they're different from their family. But a lot of times, a lot of lessons, a lot of things that we learn in life starts at home. So like I said, my dad, he didn't care. I happened to date a black woman. My dad, I could have brought anybody home to my dad. He wouldn't care. I used to say stuff like, yeah, Dad, I'm at school. I like, my white friend, Chris, or my white friend, Frank. He was like, don't get caught up on the color. Just say Frank or say Chris.
Great advice.
Advice.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking like, I'm just trying to tell a story, and he, I'm being
right though. He's right.
Yeah.
Like, don't get caught up on the color. Just say Frank and Chris. But I had a dad that did that, So now when I grow up, I'm just, I'm like, I got friends, bro. It ain't about black, white, it ain't about that. It started at home.
And that also, I think, changes within time and wisdom, right? Like, being 30, you understand that you sound like a jerk off if you even speak like that. I mean,
uneducated,
it is. Yeah, but when you're 14, I guess, like, it just makes sense, especially wherever you are in the environment. But yeah, that's a great lesson right there.
Yeah, 100%, bro. 100%.
So I am curious, for the people who want to write a book, who are writing a book, how do you get a book published?
So my book was self-published, right?
Okay.
Mine too. You just go on Kindle.
There you go. You just go on Kindle. Honestly, at this point, there's no excuses for not doing anything. How do you start a podcast? Google.
Yeah.
You buy the material, you get a homie. He got some weed and a girl who has a friend.
He named us, kid.
There it is.
But no, I literally Googled it. But I also knew a guy who had a book. His name Jalil. He had a book as well. So I would bounce. I was like, yo, did you use this? Did you use that? I used this. That didn't work for me. And that's it. I self-published it, man. Like you said, through Amazon. I just did it through Amazon.
Yeah, you do it right through Amazon. A publishing deal is only beneficial because they essentially, I believe they pay you for X amount of copies that are already out. Now, fortunately or unfortunate, however you look at it, it's a blessing or not blessing that none of us are big named, right? None of us are big enough to quickly write a book and sell, 5,000 copies right off the rip. So we would never get a publishing deal. We just won't. But fortunately, it's 2021. You go publish yourself and then go sell it yourself.
Right.
Guess,
It's
yeah.
Go ahead, my bad. Go ahead.
No, you go. You're good. You're good.
No, it's like music, like rap. Do you want to go independent or you want to sign with a label? And I decided, I decided to go independent.
Well, most rap now, they understand that independent's the way to go now in 2021. That if you sign a deal, you actually fucked up.
Yeah, you're stupid at this point. You didn't.
Yeah,
people get a bag. Teaching that, yeah.
Yeah, they try to get a bag real quick. Meanwhile, the bag is in longevity.
Is this your first podcast talking about this book, or have you planned a bunch of these in the past already?
Damn. I think this is my first official podcast. Yeah.
I think you go live a few times with people though.
Yeah, so I did. I met with another author. We had a conversation, and I just created my own content. I'm like, with me and another author, we collaborated. Like, let's just record ourselves talking about the process, and then, that led to, one of my friends from FDU, Isaac, which led to this. So sometimes you just gotta start it. But
that is funny actually.
This is my first one though, but
yeah,
COVID kind of slowed things down,
Yeah. And so the book came out in July?
Yes, July 7th. So it's almost my anniversary, man.
Yeah, seriously. That's awesome. 1 year.
Congrats.
Crazy. I know, it's crazy. Like the best feeling out the whole thing was actually getting the first copy delivered to my house. To get the hard copy, because online you got your laptop. It's real, but it's not real until you get that hard copy.
Well, Frank's funny. He likes hard copies. I can't read a hard copy book. I just can't. Like, what is this thing? Where am I reading it? On the beach? Fuck out of here. Give me my phone. I'm gonna read it on my phone.
I get that. There's just something about like holding a book and then opening it. I don't know.
Lame.
Flipping through the pages. I mean, do you prefer Kindle or do you prefer hard copy yourself when you're reading?
Hard copy.
I just don't know why. I like a bookshelf with books.
I bet you 99% of authors would tell you hard copy because they just say they got that feel.
Yeah.
Like,
well, is there normally a difference in price for a book when you go Kindle versus hard copy?
Yes.
There is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
it is.
So it would make sense. They want you to buy the hard copy.
Yes.
Haneef, how'd you come up with the price point?
Yo, so
I think it's $9, right?
Yeah, it's not. It's $10, $9.99, and I could have. I went to seminars. Like this was a process. I went to seminars with other authors, and they was like, increase it to $20. But I'm trying to build a brand for myself, right? And I want everybody to afford this. You know what I mean? Again, think about who my target audience. This is a story about North. Why would I?
You nailed it. That's a very, very.
You know what I'm saying? Why would I crack them over the head with $30 book?
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm trying to build a brand for myself. I want this book to be on every block. At least one book on every block in Jersey. In tri-state. So it's like that's what I was working towards. Like let's make this affordable.
That's a great point. Let me ask you this: do you smile when you see a royalty check come through? It may not be much, but when Amazon says you that, I actually never. I sold a couple of copies, but I made my shit 99 cents. I can care less. So like, right. Amazon still probably owes me like $15.
Right.
I just let it rock. But I mean, I tell you, when I get the email like, "Yo, fix your credit card so we can pay you," it makes me smile a little bit. Like, what? People are buying this shit? Crazy.
Yeah, that's funny, man.
Like, people listen to this podcast. Blows my mind.
Nah, man, you're right. When I check it, it's like it makes it real again. Like the whole process, having an editor, to like refer to made up. These are made up fucking characters. Like I made these names on. I was sitting there watching ESPN, like, damn, I should name him like Sean. Let's name him Sean. And now, like I just made this stuff up. So it's just like when, like you said, when you get the royalty checks, it just adds to like making this real, man.
I tell you, I bought my book like on last Wednesday or Thursday. I'm like, this motherfucker just got notified. I'm like, he's hyped. He's hyped. He pays Amazon like $1. It's like, that's my boy. Support. Let's talk to him on the show. I can't wait.
Yeah, crazy, bro.
Yeah, it to be honest, sounds like a great story. The reason I haven't gotten into it yet is because I'm trying to read 10 nonfiction books. That was just a goal I put to myself this year. But from the reviews, the story, it seems incredible, very like, impressive, man. It really does.
Yeah, the like I said, the feedback I got. First of all, the process of writing the book, I didn't realize how big of a deal it was until like people started hitting me back. I'm like, I didn't expect the impact of people reaching out. Yo, you wrote a book, but it's like
because
I said,
you're moving.
I got a lot of good feedback, man.
It's not even that, man. Even if the book sucks. In fact, a lot of people probably don't even read the book. Like 100%. People close to you. But the fact that you executed something and that you can show that you're moving, people fuck with that. Like Isaac don't listen to this show. He may listen to this one because you're on it, but
he's definitely gonna listen. He's definitely gonna listen to this one.
But like, it's just the fact that there is something tangible there. So he connected us, which is, then you need friends like that. They're like networkers.
Yeah. Well, I bet so. But your homies, they could buy the book. I mean, yeah, you want them to read it, but that support of them just buying the book, that's great.
Yeah, a lot of people, a lot of my family, friends, David didn't read it or didn't finish it, and that's okay, man. Again, like when I first started this goal, it wasn't to be, J.K. Rowling. It wasn't to, have a hot Harry Potter.
It's a bigger mission than that. Man.
Well, and then. And also, regardless, I think it's not everything is for every person, right? I mean, this is a specific. You definitely got anyone in Newark who grew up in similar settings.
It is a very targeted demo.
Yeah, people who are either grew up that way or have any interest. Like if you like A Bronx Tale, if you like, The Wire, Training Day, Boys in the Hood, Friday, if you like any of the Departed,
makes sense.
Oh, that's great.
Departed is my favorite movie of all time.
Love it. Elevator scene.
Oh, at the end?
Elevator scene. That's
all man. I watched that in theaters and I'm just like, son of a bitch, they killed Leo in every movie.
Every movie, bro.
It's crazy. I mean, he just must be one of those actors that dies well on camera.
100%.
It's crazy.
It doesn't matter. The boat, on the Titanic, it doesn't.
I tell you what, when his girls turn 22, he gets rid of them and gets a new one.
Oh man.
Makes no damn sense.
Leo's the man. He's the man, bro.
Yeah, well, when you're one of the best, I guess, right?
I mean, look, hopefully we all become one of the best. Haneef, you probably see the timer coming down. We're gonna end this show, but again, I can't thank you enough. Do you have, an outgoing message you just want to cite real quick? Anything comes to mind? You may not have nothing.
Bro, I just like I said, it's a couple of things I want to say really quick.
Of course.
And I just came up with this like 2 weeks ago, right? I think that as far as my book, as far as like your show, it's 3 ingredients that make something great. It's like the vowels, AEI. Okay.
Okay.
Authentic, that's the A.
Absolutely.
You guys are authentic. Be yourselves. Don't try to talk like nobody. Don't try to sound like nobody. Don't give, you give the people.
Yeah, we're big on that. We're big on that.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
E, be entertaining. So what that means is if you make somebody laugh once, you did your job. If somebody walk away with a smile and make them laugh once, that's more than enough. Be informative. So just teach somebody something one time. But they walk away like, damn, I ain't know that.
It's so funny you say that. When you said entertaining, I was going to chime in and say you could also be educational. Because when you produce content, if you are not one or the other, the people are not going to listen to you.
Yeah.
So, and a lot of times, people try to be entertaining and they suck. So try and be informative. That's wonderful advice.
Think about the shows that you guys probably watched. They probably make you laugh once and they probably teach you one thing.
One or the other.
Yeah,
100%.
we've always we say it all the time, man. I bet you go back to I don't know how many episodes, but we base this off of authenticity, and we either have to be informative or entertaining. You know, you have helped us be entertained
Informative.
and informative. You've done
Both.
both. You have definitely done both. I mean, we truly appreciate you hopping on this. You know, it really has been a pleasure.
Yeah, there's episodes where Frank G and I, we can get into like some weird, strange conversations, which could be entertaining, and it's certainly not informative. But when we have an author come on, it's a blessing all around between the networking, the storytelling, the connection. And like I told you yesterday, you don't know what's going to happen in 5 years. Our show could scale, or your book sales could scale, and somehow we can help each other again. And that's the blessing in itself that people seem to fail to realize.
Bro, man, again, like I said, thank you guys for having me, man.
Of course.
This has been a pleasure, man. This is fun. I always get a little nervous before anything, job interviews.
Always. But then same thing with us. But then when the light's on, you just have to rock out, man.
Right. And this was fun, man. This is a good time.
Always.
Anytime y'all need me, whatever,
well,
bro.
We're gonna hit you up. We're gonna hit you up.
Man.
A couple of months down the road, we'll get you back on. We're gonna end this show out, but Ciroc Boys in the house, and hey, Haneef, we appreciate you, man. Go enjoy that rest of the Henny, all right?
Yeah, we appreciate you, bro. And I'll hit you up when I finish that book. It starts at home. Everybody go on Amazon. Support our boy Haneef.
You were just rocking with the best.
We'll catch you next week.